Hello and welcome to Language Monk and his Random Thoughts. I have been dealing mostly with English language, its grammar, its pronunciation, the idioms and phrases which are commonly used, and the different aspects of English language. For a change, I thought this time I'll discuss the important points with regard to the different tests in English language which our youngsters have to go through in order to go abroad for overseas jobs. It's mostly important that you get through these English tests with good grades, and the tests which I have heard of and I have experienced, one is TOEFL, which is testing of English as a foreign language. Its origin is from US. Then the IELTS, which is IELTS, International English Language Testing Scheme, and OET, which is for health professionals, and it reads out as Occupational English Test. All these three tests have the listening, reading, the writing, and speaking skills being tested in the exam, which roughly extends from about 2 hours and 45 minutes to about 4 hours or so. TOEFL is longer. IELTS and OET are less than 3 hours, and TOEFL is more than 3 hours. Probably it extends beyond 4 hours sometimes, depending on the kind of questions and the kind of invigilators who are there. Now, to know about these tests, the grades you require, the practice you require, you have lots of institutes who promise you high grades, and all they do is to give you those sources, the papers, the sources of those exams, materials for test, and give it to you and ask you to keep practicing. And it depends on how good you are, which makes you get good grades. Actually, the institutes only do that. But basically, if you really want to do well in these tests, the most important thing is that you make yourself competent to face the test, which means competent in the language, competent in English, that you listen well, you read well, you speak well, and you write well. No amount of training by these institutes will help you to do that. It requires lots of time, lots of patience, and lots of reading and speaking. So I would like to give you a few tips on how to go about preparing yourself. The fact that you are going to an institute and getting acquainted with the kind of tests they're conducting, that's okay, that's good, which makes you reduce your panic when you go for the test. If you don't know anything about these tests, it's likely that you get panicky. But once you get used to it by doing several tests in these institutes, you go there and you know what's going to happen, what's coming. It doesn't make you panic. So that's one part of it. But unless your English is good in all respects, you're not going to score 7 or 8 grades in IELTS, or 100 or 110 in TOEFL, or 350 and above in OET. So what I want to tell you is how to make yourself really competent. English ഭാഷ നല്ല രീതിയിൽ കൈകാര്യം ചെയ്യുവാൻ എന്തെല്ലാം ചെയ്യണം എന്നുള്ളതാണ് ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞു തരുന്നത്. ഞാനിത് മലയാളത്തിൽ പറയാത്ത എന്തുകൊണ്ടാണെന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ, ഞാൻ ഇംഗ്ലീഷിൽ പറയുന്നത് മനസ്സിലാവാത്തവരാണെങ്കിൽ അവർ തീർച്ചയായിട്ടും കൂടുതൽ ശ്രദ്ധിക്കണം, കൂടുതൽ അധ്വാനിക്കണം അവരുടെ ഇംഗ്ലീഷ് ഭാഷ നന്നായി എടുക്കാൻ. And this is an indication. If you are not able to grasp what I am telling you, it means that you got to make a lot of improvement in your language. And for those who are able to grasp what I say, I would tell you what more is to be required for you to improve your language. So first thing you have to do is listen to good English channels like the BBC or Al Jazeera or CNN US, not Indian, and channels like that. Listen to the cartoon channels. It's very good because cartoon channels, it's more of conversation than announcements and reading. So you get to know how people talk through these cartoon channels. Music is a wonderful way to improve your listening as well as your vocabulary and pronunciation. There are lots of good English songs. Listen to them, collect the lyrics through the net, then try to understand the lyrics, read it out, then try to sing along and try to pronounce the way they are doing it, the singer is doing it. And then you read a lot of books. Don't read books which are highly complicated and very high standard. Start from a lower level, what is comfortable for you, and gradually develop it. And whenever you learn a new word, you have to know how those words are pronounced, not just know the meaning, but how they are pronounced, because English is not a phonetic language, unlike Malayalam. And apparently the word might look as if it has to be pronounced in a certain way, and then you find that it's not. I've already given examples in my previous episodes of very funny pronunciations. Another important thing with English language is that it has sounds which are alien to our language, and it has pronunciations which are alien to our language. And all these things are available in my previous videos. I have mentioned about sound, about diphthongs, about schwa, and quite a lot more, including diction, accent, pronunciation. I'm telling you again, accent is not important because different people all over the world have different accents. New Zealand has an accent, Australians have another accent, US has an accent, Canadians have a different accent. The British themselves, though they claim to be the original English speakers, they have so many different kinds of accent, like the Cockney accent, the Yorkshire accent, Scottish accent, Irish accent, Welsh accent, the London accent, the countryside accent. So accent is not important. No one is going to have a universal accent. So accent is not important, but pronunciation is very important, because a change in pronunciation will make a lot of difference in the meanings. Again, I have given samples in my previous episodes about how names and words change in meaning when you pronounce it differently. Simple example is tear and tear. Tear is the teardrops, and tear is, tearing a paper. There are several words like that in English which can be pronounced in different ways, and it means different meanings. So what you have to do is read a lot of books. You will get to know new phrases, new connecting phrases and ordinary phrases, then new words. Check the dictionary or go to the Google, go to the YouTube. You type the word or the phrase and write pronunciation. They'll give you the pronunciation, exact pronunciation. So try to improve your pronunciation and learn what is diction and what's the difference between diction and pronunciation. For a simple example, I can tell you that we normally pronounce important as important and simple as symbol. The pronunciation is correct because simple and symbol, but the diction is wrong because P is pronounced as B. So that's the difference between diction and pronunciation. Pronunciation is S-E-W, needle pulling thread. That's sew, it's not sew, but most of us say it sew. That's a wrong pronunciation, but important and important is a change in diction. So both diction and pronunciation are important, and let me tell you, many people will say pronunciation is not important, but pronunciation is important because when you go and talk there, when you go and speak to the invigilator in the test, the way you talk, the way you pronounce words will definitely impress him more, and it's likely that you get a higher grade. That's all. Maybe you will get a grade which qualifies you to go abroad, even without this kind of pronunciation, good pronunciation. So look through all this, make sure that you spend a lot of time, at least fix a time, probably a target of 1 year, in which time you improve your language, not only your writing skills, but also your speaking skills. And one very important thing which I want to tell you is that your speaking skill cannot be improved by anyone except by you. Because unless you speak, and speak a lot, you're not going to improve your speaking skills. You can read, you can write, you can improve your reading skills, you can improve your writing skills, you can improve your listening skills, but speaking skill is possible only when you speak regularly, and for which you require people. So I would suggest, if you are people near you, near and around you are not willing to talk to you in English, I would suggest creating an English club where all the members are added into a WhatsApp group, and through the group you can talk, and the advantage is that you can record your talks. replay those records and listen to your own voice and find out the mistakes and the errors and correct it the next time. So please do that, because only by then you're going to improve your speaking skills. Well, that's it. These are all some small piece of advice from me. If you can take it or you can leave it. But as a person who had spent some time with students who had appeared for IELTS and TOEFL, I would consider that my opinions will be useful for all of you. So till my next episode, I wish you all the very best, and I leave you with a message to wear your mask, wash your hands frequently with soap, keep a safe social distance, stay fit, stay healthy, and keep smiling. Bye.